Hi again, guys. Welcome back. We're going to do one more pin for this week's Super Bowl game, and the one I found was football cake pops. So I already have my ingredients laid out, and they're here on the counter. So the ingredients that we're going to be using today are Sara Lee's all butter pound cake. I got the family size, and you can see it here in the front. You're also going to want plastic forks, because that's going to hold the footballs. I'm going to be using candy melts to do the frosting and do the laces of the football. And then I also got milk chocolate frosting that we'll be dipping the footballs in. And then finally you want, if you have a football cookie cutter, you can use that. If not, you could use just a circular cookie cutter and make them into football shapes. So this is actually not even a cookie cutter. It's one of the things you put in the pan to cook eggs. But it's circular, and so I'm just going to use this. So next step is we're going to cut our pound cake into 1-inch slices and put them into football shapes. Okay, so we're on the next step, and like I said, we're going to be cutting the pound cake into 1-inch slices and then using our cookie cutter to make them into football shapes. So let's start. Okay, so let's try making these now into footballs. So, okay, one side. And that actually almost seems to work perfect. If you go right up to the edge of the crust, as you can tell, I mean, that's a pretty darn good football shape. So we're just going to continue doing that with all of the slices. And as I do each one, I'm going to go ahead and put it on my fork. So this project actually seems to be faster than some of the other projects that I have done in the past. And this one, as you can tell, I'm not doing any particular team colors. They're just going to be footballs. So you could do this for really any sort of event for football. I mean, obviously these are football shapes, but I'm sure you could do something similar with, maybe soccer balls or basketballs, and any sort of something you can make into a ball shape and then decorate. And obviously lately, cake pops have been very popular, and so since these are going to be kind of nice and bite-sized, I thought this would be a good project. Okay, so the next step of this project, now that we have all of our footballs made, we'll put the whole cookie sheet in the freezer for 20 minutes, and then the next step is going to be coming back and dipping them into the chocolate frosting. So see you guys in 20 minutes. Okay, so our 20 minutes are up. I now have my footballs over here. They've been frozen for 20 minutes. And I have my chocolate. I already melted that. I actually transferred it from the container that it comes in and put it in a glass container to see if it would be easier for melting and dipping the chocolate. So the next step then is to dip the footballs into the chocolate. And I want to have the excess chocolate drip off. And let's see. And it said to scrape the bottom on the bowl. And then we're going to put it on the cooling rack, which isn't hard enough. And if your chocolate gets too hard and thick, we can always put it back in the microwave for a little bit. Depending on how fast it cools down and how fast this goes, I might have to do that for mine as well. like I said previously, so far this project seems actually very easy. It even seems like something you could do with your children as a fun project. I even may put my chocolate back in because I'm already going through a lot of it with just these 4 footballs that I've dipped. I still have quite a bit more, so I'm going to put it in a little bit more and see if it'll thin it out just a little bit. So I just did it for 10 more seconds, and already you can tell it's much more smooth. I don't seem quite as coated with the chocolate as thick, which is kind of more consistency I'm going. If you do have if you make the chocolate too soft, it'll be sitting there forever trying to let it drip off. But I think it does provide a lighter coating, and it also seems to be a little bit smoother as well. So I don't know if you guys can see on the cookie tray or on the cooling rack, the ones that I did where I heated up the chocolate, you can actually still see them dripping through, whereas the first ones that were a little thicker coating are not dripping. They're actually just kind of staying in place. So it's probably, it depends if you want more frosting, less frosting, you always have to see what you like. If there's a pin that you guys would like to try, and you'd maybe even be interested in seeing me try, go ahead and in the comments below, put the name of it, put the link, and I'll review it. And you never know, it could be a project that I try in the future. I try to limit how much I spend on a project, so anything that is too expensive, I might pass on depending on what it is, but go ahead and put it in the comments, and I'll respond with you whether I will add it to my list to try. And not all the ones I try are going to be cooking. If you saw the one I did with the mug, I'll have other crafty type projects as well. My 3 dogs are staying very close to the kitchen with all of this sweets baking going on. Of course, dogs are not allowed to have chocolate, so if you have animals, do not let them have the chocolate. Let's see, I'm running out of space on my cooling rack, and I have 2 more footballs to go. It actually almost looks like I'll have just about the right amount of chocolate with very little left. So far I'm liking the way these look. They seem, like I said, to be very smooth. I don't find myself to be very artistic, so for something that can make me look good and make me look artistic, I love it. Okay, and 1 more. So then after this step, we're gonna let these set just a little bit more, and I'm breaking this last one. Looks like this one, the fork came out. We'll have to maybe do an after action fixing on that one. Oops. Okay. But so yeah, next up we're gonna let this sit and set, and we'll come back then and melt some candy melts and try to continue making them look like footballs by adding laces to them. So we will see you guys in just a little bit. Okay, so we're back. We're gonna let these set for a little bit. I have now, I did about 10 of the bright white candy melts in just a plastic baggie, and then I'm gonna clip off the corner and then use it to draw my laces on the footballs. So I've found this is actually a very good way to decorate with the candy melts by using the plastic baggie. It gives you a little bit more control, but do whatever you want. You don't have to use candy melts to decorate. You can use whatever you want to do the laces. So let's see how this goes. And again, I just have to say, for somebody who is not very creative, this is actually a very good project. You know, the idea making of the project has been done, and it really is very straightforward with what to do. Most of the products do the work themselves. Like I said, making the football shape was very easy, a lot better than my Rice Krispie treats were going. And the chocolate, if you have it, melted right, it comes off very smooth. Even the decorating, I could probably go a little bit slower with my decorating and have it look a little less messy. But I think actually, these actually to me look like footballs, which is a win, in my opinion. If they look like what they are supposed to look like, then project well done. Again, I even think this is something that could, be done with your children. That it's easy enough and really quite hard to screw up. Although there probably would be people who would screw it up. I shouldn't say that. But I just think you'd have to almost go to work to actually screw it up. Okay, there's my footballs. I think they really do look like footballs. That was actually about the perfect amount of frosting. I do have some left, but I like having a little more than not enough. So again, we're going to let these cool. Not even cool, they're not really that hot anymore. Let them set a little bit more, and then I will stick them in the final part of the project, which I got a green styrofoam that we're going to stick the forks into. The pin also has where you can put like fake grass around it, make it look like a football field. I'm not going to go that far, but I am going to just stick it in those for easy transport and whatnot to the party. Okay. So I have one cake pop that is falling off the fork. So I like to include my husband in things, and we like to have fun. So he looks a little scared. Oh, is that why I was doing that? Okay. So I am going to attempt to throw this football into my husband's mouth. So this is the one, like I said, that did not stay on the fork. So
underhand or overhand?
I got it overhand.
Overhand? Am I going to try to catch it, or are you going to try to beat me with it? This is dodgeball?
Ready? Ready?
You hit the wall, you're cleaning it.
I will. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's try it.
Touchdown!
Let's try it again. Oh